Well, I'm excited to catch up with both of you here at DTW Ignite in Copenhagen to discuss transformation generally. But Valeria, let's start with you. VodafoneThree is going through a very significant transformation program at the moment. Can you talk to us a little bit about your strategy for enterprise services, differentiated connectivity, and ultimately growth?
Yeah, sure. So let me touch on the transformation journey where we just embarked. And it's been the first year, and we've delivered already some major transformation to our customers. We have enabled many of our radio sites with multi-operator core network, which broadcasts the signal, both Three and Vodafone, and that has allowed us to improve on 4G coverage, 5G coverage. We've removed, not spots, 16,500 square kilometers of those. We have removed congestion for 7 million customers by activating spectrum on one of the two breeds. We have increased the 5G traffic by enabling more coverage. We've tripled the traffic for the Three customer base and doubled for the Vodafone one. So a huge amount of transformation for our customers in the first year. But we've also importantly started on the major journey of rolling out the new radio sites, and that is a hugely complex exercise. It requires us to work with our network partners, BMO2 and BNN on the other side. It's got many parties, it's got also many technical complexities. And as you say, on top of it, we are launching new services. We have launched Speed Boost, which allows our consumer to have a boost on their speeds if they wish to do so for a certain period of time, or in general. We've launched new FWA product. We have a 5G slice, local slice, got enterprise customers, and there's many more to come in the pipeline. So not only a transformation of the foundations, which is our network, but also transformation of our products and services. So, yeah.
So DJ, that gives us an idea of the technical challenges that operators are facing around everything from SMO and slicing assurance to AI and even agentic AI. How do you take all of those challenges and address them from a practical deployment standpoint?
That's a very good question, because I think to start with, when we take, let's say, VodafoneThree complexities, this is what I would say nowadays one of the most complex situations, because the Three network was originally standalone. Vodafone had a MORAN sharing with the Virgin Media O2. Now there is additionally multi-operator core network in the picture, and this may be actually the only network that has this level of complexity. But on our side, when we see these challenges, our network automation portfolio, our service management and orchestration solution was actually built specifically to address these kind of challenges in a complex multi-vendor MOCN MORAN radio networks and also across domains. So when we talk about the complexity of the network, what is an edge case for majority of the operators today is something that we've been building our software for over the past few decades. And we've always considered that this is the freedom that the mobile operator is getting by choosing vendor, making multiple multi-operator sharing agreements, allowing easily changing the spectrum, allowing to easily change the strategies. So this is the agility is one of our main points that we bring, that we are building our products to bring to our automation partners.
Then Valeria, to return to your enterprise service strategy, I'm curious, as you look to deliver bespoke, reliable services that could generate new revenue for VodafoneThree, how do you prioritize within your transformation program?
It's hugely important to us. So the whole point of having such an ambitious investment plan, which is, by the way, committed to our customers, to government, to the regulators, we have to do it, is that not only we invest in the network, but we offer the tailored and differentiated services that our customers need. So, and we're doing that for enterprise and also for consumers, and that is hugely prioritized, I have to say. Our teams are working very hard to understand the customer needs, but also making sure that we bring the automation in, so that when we offer these services, that we can assure them, we can monitor them, we can measure them, to make sure that the network responds to the customers required in a specific location at a certain point in time. So automation is not just to reduce the cost, it's actually to deliver the correct differentiated service to the customers. It becomes an essential part of the journey of the service and the proposition that we're building.
And here at the show, a lot of the focus is on what's happening around level 4 network automation, seeing a lot of good progress, but the North Star here is level 5. DJ, I'm curious how you think about this path from automation to autonomy.
In this event, I actually like the slogan of this event, the future faster. Every operator across the globe is trying to bring, the future, the high autonomous network and the fully autonomous network, to bring it faster. But I think faster is only good if you're driving in the right direction, right? And if you're not driving in the right direction, faster may be having detrimental effects. What I would say, if you let me define autonomy. Autonomy is automation that has gained the trust. The trust of, first of all, the network, the trust of subscribers, and the trust, obviously, the teams of the mobile operator. So when I look back at 10, 15 years ago, when we had our initial automation closed loop products, it was very hard to convince any mobile operator to actually do anything, in the closed loop, even though all the rules were strictly defined. Just the fact that something is done in the closed loop was already scary enough, and it took a lot of bravery and these leaps of faith, to start adopting such solution. Today we see like more than 80 operators have adopted our solutions in automation, and autonomy is another leap of faith that operators are taking and are going to take, by trusting the intelligence to artificial intelligence to take over some decisions. We've seen a lot of, for example, autonomous network level 4 awards given for some very specific narrow domain. Most of them were energy saving on this event, I think. Yesterday there was some kind of small ceremony, right? But of course it's just a starting step. So everyone talks on this event about autonomous networks, yet I did not see any operator terminating their NOCs. So again, with the trust that is built over time, that small step at a time, the networks become, from automated, they go to fully autonomous network.
So to bridge from that, Valeria, obviously this is a huge exercise in technological transformation as well as organizational transformation. As you go through that process, what do you need from your technology partners?
I think, clearly we need to realize cost efficiencies and simplicity. That's the baseline. And simplicity alone is an incredibly difficult outcome to achieve. The complexities, as you said, are across the organizations, the cultures are coming together, the processes, the workflows, the existing partnerships we have, the multi-vendor environment we have, the fragmented OSS systems that we have to combine together, and so on and so forth. So simplicity alone might sound, simple on its own, but it's incredibly difficult outcome. Equally, we need them, as DJ was saying, to show that we can trust certain things. So I very much agree that automation is the first step, and then that alone will take us, very much forward if the simplicity and the cost efficiencies and the assurance of our services are achieved. And then we can build from there to try some of the closed loop workflows or what we can do. And I also need agility, something you touched on. Agility in making sure that they prioritize what's required as and when it's required. As we go through the transformation, we're planning and doing all of that, but sometimes we also need to reprioritize based on the requirements that we see as we go through. So agility is absolutely essential from our partners as well.
So DJ, if we look at the types of enterprise services that we've been discussing, obviously it's about new network capabilities, but there's also new operational methodologies that need to be put in place. How do you think operators should approach this so that they can really drive new opportunity at scale?
Enterprises, as well as the regular like subscriber slicing, is a huge opportunity for operators to, finally get that additional revenue stream. Because for years, operators were always, I think, suffering with the stagnating revenues. And I think the 5G SA networks are finally bringing something that allows mobile network operator to create additional revenue streams. Now, what's important in enterprise slicing and the network slicing in general is to have a good service management orchestration platform, obviously, and general service orchestrator that allows slicing to happen dynamically. Because just yesterday we were discussing the end game here is that when you're opening your phone, right, and you're saying, okay, I'm here and I want, let's say, guaranteed 10 megabit for a week in this Copenhagen center area or in this event area, and that you can just buy it and it will go through CRM system, it will go automatically to the network slice management functions, and it will go to each domain and define your slice. Also, it will check whether the network is able, to provide such level of service. So there will be an admission control. This is another important factor in this game. And finally, after the slice has been provisioned, there is an assurance factor, because unlike the transport fiber networks, unlike the core network elements that can be just created as a virtualized network element, the radio network has no chance to provide 100% guarantee on something. It depends on weather, on rain, on sunlight, on the constructions, and many other factors. So this dynamic slice assurance is one of the key factors for mobile operators to be able to provide the right service to their enterprise customers. Because when a slice fails to deliver the necessary quality, the enterprise customer will not go and check their SLAs, they will call. And so they will complain. Therefore, yes, the dynamic slice instantiation, the instantiation and slicing assurance is absolute key to be able to secure those potentially high revenues.
So if we return to this broader transformation topic, DJ, how do you think about success? What does it look like in the real world?
That's a very generic question, I'd say. I think that any transformation is judged eventually by an outcome. It does not have to be short-term outcome. I'd say it actually should not be a short-term outcome. It should be something like when we take those things that Valeria mentioned earlier, right? It's taking and consolidating hugely fragmented part of components of network and network management domain and bringing them under one single roof so that you don't have to, deal with all of this in the future, and that enables you agility. So agility, yes, the partner should bring agility. Why partner should bring agility? To be able to make a mobile operator agile as well, because the requirements change. Today we are using certain particular gaming apps. There are certain apps. Tomorrow there will be some killer apps with, let's say, glasses or another new Apple device which we may have no idea about. And the operators who will bring this service for those devices the quickest are going to get the most revenues.
And so, Valeria, what does that look like for VodafoneThree and what you're doing? How do you sort of define and measure progress against your transformation goals?
Well, in simple terms, our progress is very much measured by Competition Market Authority on our rollout. But in VodafoneThree, that we go well beyond that, and we look at customer outcomes. So, are customers happy? We innovated on the services they having. Are they calling our centers because what we've sold isn't matching the promise? So it's success to us is very much looking at the customers, seeing whether we are performing versus what we promised them to have. So on one side, in VodafoneThree networks, we'll be measured against our rollout, how quickly we go, how fast we innovate, how fast we bring dynamic slicing into the game, etc. But really the overall business success is measured against our customers. They come first.
Excellent. Well, I really appreciate you both taking the time to have this conversation and share your perspective with our audience.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.